Okay, guys, we're working on Simplicity Broadmoor. I believe it's range between 2005 and 2009 model. I think it's around a 2009 model here, this one here that I'm working on. It broke in the drive belt for the your hydrostat. The belt up underneath here, guys. I already got it replaced here. It's this belt that runs from your motor back to your hydrostat. Not too bad of a job. What you got to do here, guys, you want to loosen these up. You don't need to take them all the way off. Just loosen them up enough so you can get your belt past that. And you got to, on this one here, you take your steering rod. Take the steering rod off so you can get, because the belt runs in between the steering shaft right here. So you have to take this off here to get the belt around that. And you got to disconnect your clutch, your PTO clutch. Take this bolt out. And I got pretty lucky on this unit. It wasn't stuck on there or anything. Once I took, that's a 5/8 bolt. Once I took that bolt out of there, this clutch dropped right down. The pulley come right out. It come right down as well. And there's a little a keyway in there for your clutch, and a keyway for your upper pulley here. And best way I found is I started back here, put the belt on, started back here, put the belt around that first, and set your parking brake. So when you set your parking brake here, hang on, I'll show you here. Get this camera adjusted a little bit. Take and set your parking brake. That way it gives you plenty of slack. That gives you plenty of slack to get your belt on there through these pulleys here. Like I said, you got to loosen those up to get them around these here belt holders, or whatever you want to call them, the little brackets there. You loosen those up, though, you can makes it a whole lot easier putting that belt. Basically, the only way you'll get that belt on, really, you got to set your parking brake. And once I got it looped around there, what I did is I had the clutch laying down here on the ground, on the floor, and then I had the pulley off. And I just took and put the belt around the pulley. Then I kind of brought that, because it is a little tight. When you put that on there, your pulley, just bring your pulley over to where it slides up on your crank here. Make sure you got your keyway lined up and your pulley. And you just slide that on up there, guys. Once you get that belt around that pulley, that's the best way I found to do it. And you know, you're gonna have to use both hands there to do that, because you're gonna, if that's, you know, wanting to fall off there, you're gonna have to hold it up. Bring your clutch over here. Your clutch has got to fit inside this here. This one here is welded to the frame. Some of them, I guess, are not welded here. They got like a bolt or something maybe coming down, and you can take it out that way. Then you don't have to then you wouldn't have to drop this clutch. But on this one, it's welded to the frame, so you got to drop the clutch assembly down. And like I said, once you get your belt on there, you put your pulley up in there, make sure your keyway's lined up, and make sure your keyway's lined up on this as well. And just, you know, put everything back up in there and then start your bolt in there. And that bolt there, I torqued it at, I wasn't sure what the torque setting is. Most of the other mowers I was seeing looked like it was between 40 and 50 pounds, so I went 45 pound, torqued that down to 45 pounds on that. And also, guys, on my last video, I had this, when I did the service on this mower to get it ready for mowing season, there's 2 more grease zerks that I found up under here. I don't remember if I put that in that last video or not on greasing the grease zerks, but there is 2 more, one here and one over here. I don't remember if I got them or not. I'm going to go ahead and shoot them with some grease, but I don't remember if I put that in that other video or not, because there is a grease zerk. There's a grease zerk right here. You got to grease that one right there. So there's actually 3 grease zerks underneath on this bottom side that you need to get to when you're doing your service and doing your greasing on your grease fittings. You want to make sure you get those too. So I don't think I put on that other video, I'm not sure if I showed that or not in that other video I got on this mower here. So we torqued that at 45, and how I had to do that, guys, I ended up having to take this, you got your 4 Phillips screws here that hold your screen on right here. I took that off, and then what I did is I put this breaker bar on there with a 30 millimeter socket to hold that in place. Otherwise you can't hold that. I mean, I was all right here. I was kind of worried about, because this is plastic here, but it worked out all right. It didn't break anything or anything. Otherwise, if you got somebody to help you, they can hold this while you're down there torquing that 5/8 bolt for your PTO. You know, 45, around 40 to 50 pound is what I found mostly on the internet. So I went ahead and did it at 45. But anyways, and I had to take this here loose on this, and I couldn't take it all the way off. I didn't feel that it was necessary. I don't know why the engineers made something like this. You know, if all they would have had to do is put a slot, cut a slot in that so you could, because this one bolt here is what's holding me up on taking this all the way off. If we would have just slotted that, and I have no idea why they did not slot that, because otherwise you're going to have to take this here, you have to take part of this valve or this valve cover off just to get that bolt out of there. So what I did is I just took all the other bolts out, which them were not too bad, and then just bent that up a little bit to get it up out of the way so I could get that breaker bar on there so I could hold the motor from turning over, so I could torque that PTO clutch down there. And you got this bracket here, which goes right in here. You got to take your fuel pump off here and take that bracket off. It all bolts right in here. And you got a bolt here and another bolt back here. And why they don't make these the same size, I don't know why, because these smaller ones are 10 millimeters and the ones over here were 12 millimeters. And same on this other side too, was these ones here were 10 millimeter bolts, and then there's another bolt goes here which is a 12 millimeter, and that's a 12 millimeter. And this one here, like I said, you can't get it all the way out. Not very good engineering on their part on doing that, that's for sure, because then you got to take all this crap off just to get that bolt out of there, because you can see it's all the way back against the against this piece right here. So it not really a good engineering. If all they would have had to do is put a slot in that way you could just pull this whole thing, you know, take this bolt loose and just pull this whole thing up, and that way you can take the whole thing off there. But anyways, this worked out. Probably do a little cleaning inside that motor. The motor's pretty dirty in there. Take an air hose and blow some of that junk out of there. But let's see how many hours we have on this. 704 hours. So the belt finally gave out on him. He was mowing up on a hill, and the belt broke on him. And oh yeah, guys, another thing too I recommend on these Simplicities, always get the belt on this. I was kind of having a hard time figuring out what belt, because they don't list it in the owner's manual. All the other belts they list here for your mower deck and all that is right up in here. But as far as the drive belt for the hydrostat, they don't list it in the owner's manual. So I had to do some research on that. And right here is your part number. Now I don't know if Toro Wheel Horse had bought into Simplicity or what the deal is on that, but the belt itself is stamped Briggs and Stratton, I do believe. Yeah, it's got the Briggs and Stratton emblem on it. These are definitely the belts you want to keep running. I mean, it's like a 94.5-inch belt. But I've always found on these Simplicities to go with the, unless you can find an old stock Simplicity belt. The old stock Simplicity belts were marked Simplicity on them. They were really good belts. They last a long time. And I haven't had any issues replacing these Simplicities with the Briggs and Stratton belt, which I think Briggs and Stratton had either bought Simplicity belts out, or I don't know what the deal is on that. But all the Simplicity, whenever you get one from Simplicity dealer, they always got that Briggs and Stratton emblem on them now. So not sure what the deal is on that, but I do know that these belts are really good. They seem to last a long time compared to just going to Tractor Supply or some places sells aftermarket belts like Napper or something like that, or you put a 94-inch belt on there. And I've had problems. I've got other Simplicities myself. I own 3 more Simplicities, which are the older ones. And I've always found that when I run the mower deck belts on these Simplicities, I've tried aftermarket ones before, and they do not last. The regular Simplicity belts on these, they last 5 times longer than if you put an aftermarket belt on a Simplicity for some reason. I don't know why. Like I said, they must be really good belts. So, and like I said, that their Briggs and Stratton belt, which replaced, I guess, the old Simplicity part numbers, and them seem to be a really good belt as well. I ain't had any issues with them kind of belts. This here, I couldn't find any markings on that belt, but I'm pretty sure it's the original Simplicity belt, because I'm sure he's never had that changed before. and it's got 700 hours on it, so not too bad on that belt. You know, when you're doing a lot of, if you're doing some pulling some weight, or doing a lot of mowing up down hills, it puts a little stress on them belts. So, but anyways, guys, I thought I'd throw that video out there on you know, what it takes to replace the belt for your hydrostat unit on a Simplicity Broadmoor 20 horse. This one's got the 44-inch mower deck on it. So I thought I'd throw this video out there for somebody. I didn't see any really YouTube videos out there on the Simplicity Broadmoor, specifically Simplicity Broadmoor mower replacing that belt. It's not too bad of a job there, really. It's just some stuff you're going to have to tear apart, you know. And also, to take that off, you can, you know, put your breaker bar on here if you don't have a, what I use is an air impact, which zips it right off right away. Like I said, I got pretty lucky on this one. I guess some people have issues with the getting that clutch system to drop off there, and the pulley system. I guess some of them get rusted up or something, and they have an issue of getting those off. This one here, I did not have an issue because this is a really nice tractor. This tractor's, you know, stored inside all the time. So it makes a big difference when you store these tractors inside a building or something versus leaving them set outside all the time, and everything gets rusted up. And then when you have a problem, go to tear something apart, you know, it's frozen up, rusted, and then you got all kinds of problems getting them off there. So so this one here turned out really good as far as tearing that apart on that. So that'll wrap this video up, guys, on the Simplicity Broadmoor, changing that belt for the hydrostat unit.